Hello everyone, I'm finally back. I had every intention of posting videos last week. My work job actually gave me New Year's Eve off, but I had to work the 30th. And so I came home the 30th, and that night when I laid down in bed, it hit me. I had chills to the bone. I had the flu. I missed all of New Year's Eve, all of New Year's Day. I woke up late Tuesday and I had all these messages on my phone telling me Happy New Year, and I was just completely out of it, and I missed both days. Thank goodness for my wonderful husband and my wonderful son. They took care of me when I was sick. My son ran down to the store and was buying me orange juice, and then my husband, I know I probably woke him up a couple of times to get me some water or something, and he did it, and he did it without complaining, and he just took really good care of me. At one point, I woke up and my side of the bed had been cleaned off, so he cleaned up all of my tissues and my empty water bottles, and he even did some clothes and some dishes. And then when I was on the mend, he actually cooked for me. So he was making me toast and eggs, and he just took really good care of me. So I spent last week sick and recuperating, but now it's time to get back to the decluttering and to get things caught up around this house. So today I think I want to focus on that bright blue tote. I want to go through it and see what I can get rid of. So there's not an awful lot in here. It looks like this is some of my husband's stuff, and then some of it was my Aunt Betty's. So should be pretty quick to go through. So since some of this belongs to my husband, I went ahead and I had him come down and kind of look through it. So I know what he wants to get rid of and what he wants to keep. So this was a glass from Red Lobster. We can let this go. These are some of my husband's cards. He said he wanted to hold on to these, so I got to keep these. This was a Mickey Mouse piggy bank, but you can see it's broken. This was my husband's, but he said to let this go. This was a jigsaw puzzle that had belonged to my Aunt Betty. She passed away. I have a lot of stuff in this house that belonged to my Aunt Betty. And the thing is a lot of it was just brought to me and given to me by my dad. So it wasn't like I went through her stuff and said, that's something that I want to keep. He just kind of brought it to us, and then I felt obligated to hold on to it. But I think a lot of this stuff, I don't have any sentimental attachment to this. And so I think some of the stuff that had belonged to my Aunt Betty, I think I want to take it and give it back to my dad and let him be the keeper of the stuff. And if he wants to get rid of it, he can. And if he wants to keep it, he can. So this is something that I don't have a sentimental attachment to. I want to get rid of it. This was my husband's. It's just a little bowl, but it's cracked, and he said we can let this go. This was an old fabric calendar of my husband's. He said to let it go. These were jelly jars from Welch's. They had belonged to my Aunt Betty, but I'm going to let them go. So this was another piggy bank, and it belonged to my husband, but it's broken. He said he can let this go. So these right here, it's a very old troll doll, and these little rabbits are bendable. These belong to my Aunt Betty, but these I'm actually holding on to because these do have sentimental value to me. When I was a little girl, me and my brother, we would go to my Aunt Betty's, and these would be on a shelf, and these are what we would play with. My Aunt Betty was a huge troll fan, and then these we always played with as kids, and so I can remember these being in her house, and so these do hold sentimental value, so I'm holding on to these. So I have a stack of comic books. Superman, Jughead, from Archie, Betty and Veronica, The Punisher, Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Katie King, Muppet Babies. These were my Aunt Betty's as well. My brother is a huge comic book collector, and I'm going to go ahead and send these to him and let him be the keeper of these. This was my Aunt Betty's as well. I don't have any sentimental attachment to it. I'm going to let it go. So I have an empty tote. But there's something else that belonged to my Aunt Betty down here that I'm going to also add to this tote to hopefully fill it up. So this jewelry box was also my Aunt Betty's. My dad brought it and gave it to my daughter, but she no longer wants it. But I still felt obligated to hold on to it because it was my Aunt Betty's. So I think that's going to do it for today. The only things that I actually kept out of there were the 2 bendable rabbits and the troll, because those do have some sentimental attachment for me. The rest of it I'm letting go of. So I'm going to go ahead and send this tote to my dad. I don't have any sentimental attachment to what's in this tote. And so I'm going to let my dad be the keeper of it. If he wants to get rid of it, he can. If he wants to hold on to it, he can. The truth is, I have so much stuff still left in this house that belonged to my Aunt Betty. My bedroom furniture actually belonged to my Aunt Betty. I've got some stuff in my china cabinet that belonged to my Aunt Betty. So I have more than enough stuff for the memories. And honestly, the best memories are right here. So I'm going to let this go with love. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.